Alright, hello everybody, welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting Link to the Past Randomizer Pilot Spoiler Tournament 2022. We got Game 1 of Round 2 for you tonight between It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Take Nep, and The Ringers. Commentating for us, we have Claire Mouse and Will WC, and tracking for us is Iker. Say hello everybody.
Hello everybody.
Well, hello everybody. Will, Iker, how's it going tonight?
It's good. I'm excited to be here with you. Excited to see this tourney continue to play out here.
Oh yeah. Maybe a potential scout for future opponents. Will, maybe. I mean, you are on the other side of the bracket, but yeah. but you know, it's hey, you never know these things, right? Spoiler is it's fast. It is a lot of the luck has been taken out, but it can be hyper aggressive, right? Depending on safeties, offense, weaponry, armor. You can be in like pod in the dark on 4 hearts with fighter sword, and if that's the fastest way, maybe you're willing to take that risk.
Yeah, so just a real quick overview for anyone who's joining us who may be familiar with Link to the Past Randomizer but not what's happening here. Both of our runners today have a pilot who has full access to the spoiler log that they will get access to when the race starts here in about 5 seconds. And they're going to have the ability to tell the runners where the items are. It is the goal to be the first one to complete the seed.
Yeah, it looks like we've already got dueling big keys already. So certainly the one that Dace picked up is absolutely hard required. That Ice Palace big key may or may not be. Logically, of course, Ice Palace is a crystal, which looking like actually Iker has already tracked a bunch of prizes for us. So yeah, logically we're gonna need that the big key to Ice Palace. Now, of course, these Relkin and Days, and along with their pilots, Nep and Freddy, I'm pretty sure they know how to sequence break logic.
Yeah, there will be not a lot of respect paid to getting, say, 6 pod keys to get items out of the back there, or things of that nature tonight. But we are going to have some fun here. It looks like Relkin is setting up some kills here to maybe try and get maybe a tier 2 tree pull coming up here.
Yeah,
so
looks
something
like it.
That the tree pull information is in the spoiler log, so that could be something that he and Nep, his pilot, negotiated. And yeah, we do see bombs up there on the tier 2 tree pull.
Yeah, and in fact, actually, I don't know if that hit was intentional from the crow on Relkin's side, but he's maybe if he was setting for a tier 2 and kind of unexpectedly got tier 3, well, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, and so we see both runners making their way to Kakariko. That's pretty common early in spoilers, just because there's so many checks here that you're likely to want to end up here and getting items early on.
Yeah, especially in Key Sanity, there's, all the, of course, well, look, there's the Pearl right there. I was going to say, all the important items are shuffled, but also you've got some maps, compasses, and keys, like a small key to Turtle Rock, which is absolutely required because it's a crystal. We have a lot more, item checks in Kakariko, right? Just all the more, chance for something to be pretty important. But you know what? There's a flute here in the back of mine.
I think that's something that most people would classify as pretty important.
And suddenly, so early resources, are always going to be pretty important. But I think, for Relkin to have to try and set up that tier 3 tree pull, right, in order to get some bombs, very, very much worth it. Right, that's probably actually why he's like, yeah, you really want a bomb to go in before you don't want to double dip blinds hideout, right?
Right. That was good awareness by both runners, really kind of using differing routes there, but each finding their own way to navigate the early game, getting the resources there, getting bombs to get into Kakariko and get that flute. That's going to save a lot of time, especially early in the run. We don't know yet where the boots are going to show up, which are the other kind of major speed-oriented item.
Yeah.
The flute, getting it activated here at the before 3 minutes is going to make getting around this seed a lot quicker and easier.
Yeah, and actually, to your point, right? I mean, of course, we always want to go fast, right? High mobility is certainly very much an asset if you want to win a race. For what it's worth, also takes a little bit of pressure, I think, off of both the runner and the pilot, in that you don't necessarily have to worry about overworld optimization, as much, just because you have a flute, right? So it kind of, whatever cycles you kind of spare, especially in the early game, to try and figure out where everything is, because you have 50 50 different things going on, I think it certainly can be quite helpful.
Yeah, and I think we're going to put that Moon Pearl to use in an unintended fashion here very early, because the only 2 checks that we can do over here are to set up
we can
come in and out and walk back in to get the 2 items here out of Waterfall Ferry.
Yeah, we can get 2 300s, you know, and then go walk to Zora. But you know what? We're gonna get a glove instead. Oh, and a big key. Oh, that's also. Oh yeah. I am watching the. Looking at the tracker. Of course, we have a pendant Thieves Town. Now, of course, you know the big key means that we just need access to the back. May or may not have to go kill blind, but it is something there for us.
Yeah. Day's getting a nice, easy, quick 3-bomb refill there from inside the dam. As Relkin chooses to save quit to Sanctuary, I think we're going to head over here to Back of Escape. On inside, and probably on Days as well.
Yeah, and actually, that's actually quite a good heads up, actually, on Days and Freddy's communication, right? Because, you know, Back of Escape, no boost means that you need a bomb in order to get back here, right? So Days is probably like, I don't have a bomb. Can you find me quick bombs? You know, and Freddy, to his credit, right? We're here. We're gonna... Holy cow.
All right. Nice.
That's a lot of stuff back
sub
there.
5 Dark World access there. So yeah. Keeping our tracker Ikir very busy tonight with the hammer and flippers there.
Yeah, and of course, right, you know, talk about, you know, normally in a single non-pilot mode for spoiler, typically speaking, people don't usually play with keys, so it's just kind of like the items, but this is also key sanity, so Iker's really kind of like doing a lot of heavy lifting tonight, so thank you. Days not getting lucky on his 50-50 bomb pickup. Always kind of nice in order to get a free bomb, but, you know, fortune was not with us.
And Dazed is heading over here to the Flute 5 portal. Are we going to go just straight into pod here? Do you guys have the money for it?
Oh, yeah. I wonder if even, you know, they were actually looking at, you know what, there's 20 rupees in the Back of Escape. That's exactly how much you need for pod money. But looks like you are correct. So okay, we know this pod is a crystal. It's a 5/6 crystal. Unless, like, pod has a million things, and we're probably going to come back. That's what it's looking at.
Did you notice what we just got there from the old man?
I did. So once we actually were able to see the old man, it did look like we got a vanilla item from the old man.
Yeah, that is the vanilla mirror there on the old man. So Relkin gonna pick that up, and then looks like he is heading also to pod. I would not be surprised at all if Boots are sitting here in one of the first couple of checks in the front of pod here, since we have one small key. No bow.
Now, at least now, I'm not sure how adept Relkin is, I guess, for mimic clipping, but I will say that Daze is very confident, I would say, in his mimic clipping skills. So, in this case, if, you know, there is something happens to be on the Bowlock side, for example, which Daze is right here for, he's probably going to make an attempt in order to get it. Looks like, though, I don't know if you noticed that Relkin and maybe had a bit more of a hesitancy or uncertainty, maybe deciding or not whether or not he wants to go in.
There was also the potential that, you know, maybe he's, you know, communicating with Nep on, you know, hey, maybe is there a bottle available with a potion in it that I could do?
Oh, very much so. Yeah,
I could do this more quickly. You know, so that could be something they're communicating as well. There's a hook shot. That's something we'll need at some point tonight.
In fact, that is actually, I mean, whether or not Relkin goes into pod at this point, right? This getting the mirror first in order to get the hook shot, you know, talk about early mobility, that hook shot is quite good. Also, of course, very powerful weapon, right? In order to be able to, that was, I mean, this is, man, if, like, Daze did a really nice job there, mimic clipping, like, he was.
That was butter smooth.
So fast. If Relkin can get through, I mean, this sounds like a pretty important thing, if we literally just, like, rushed here over to pod.
That piece was not while we came here. Gonna go ahead and spoil that for everyone.
Oh my, yeah. Oh, you know what? Holy cow, that is 100% worth it. 200% even though we do have one boot. But looks like Relkin's gonna do not quite the same thing. Never mind. Maybe
there's something here in the bridge chest or Stalfa's basement. Oh, he's just stocking up on a couple extra bombs.
Oh, okay. Very fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and there's also kind of like heads up, especially early resources, looking actually at how looks like, you know, potentially pretty money starved, honestly. We had to kind of scrounge together, you know, like what, 50 rupees here, 20 rupees there in order to get into pod to begin with. And and looks like we don't even have the luxury to go buy some bombs, or it looks like, right?
Right.
So...
and spoiler, you want to avoid that if at all possible, just because going to a shop is
also
15,
costs
20 seconds at
the
best case.
Oh yeah, everything is everything has a time cost, whether or not there's a monetary value attached to it or not. But looks like Relkin is also going to make his own attempt at mimic clipping. For the record, because it's spoiler, both runners have the log. There's not going to be like a where did this guy find the ice rod type of situation. Nep, and Freddy, the pilots, are able to watch the restream. They're able to watch their opponent's streams to kind of get a sense of where their opponents are if they choose to. But Relkin also very nicely done in order to get the mimic clip. I mean, so both teams are gonna sequence break out these boots.
yeah. Even for a having to kind of switch to the buffered method there, that was still a nice tidy mimic clip there for sure.
Oh yeah.
And now Daze is gonna come over here, get his hook shot. We're gonna be pretty much dead even on items at with both runners in very similar situations here. So 10 minutes in, and we're we've had a little bit of crisscrossing divergence, but we're basically dead even at this point.
Yeah, looks like Relkin's gonna get farm out a couple more bombs, it looks like, just so he has enough resources. It's a very good play, honestly, just to be conscious. Like, you don't really want to be in a situation where it's like, oh, you know what, we gotta go to Hype Cave. Oh, you know what, we need to go to we need to do Floating Island. It's like, oh, do we have any bombs for this? And then it's like a gigantic scramble. You don't want that to happen.
Now, this is interesting that Relkin is going to head into Eastern Palace here. We don't have
Cohort number
the bow. So
yeah, this must be something very, very good here. As you said, this is a crystal. I mean, it did look like we're gonna have to come back for pod anyway. So maybe Relkin just thinking, kind of in the area, get something that's maybe it's a sword. I was also looking for potentially some sort of safety / offense we can use to dash with. By the way, is Daze going to Catfish? Is this what I'm looking? Is this what I'm saying?
I don't know where else he would be going here. That's a Swamp Small Key there in the Compass Chest of Eastern. We will, that will be required to pick up at some point for Dazed and Freddy as well.
Yeah, it really makes me think that the bows are just completely buried. That's what it seems like, right? Because I mean, or a bottle. I mean, I think both watching Relkin and Daze, they're both very capable of mimic clipping.
Also, that is full swamp access for us, minus the big chest.
Oh, excellent point. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What a... Well then. Look. So Catfish has her mitts. Always cool to see. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you, Spoiler Log.
Thank you, Spoiler Log. No matter what happened otherwise in the seed. But, instead we're getting those at the 11-minute mark, and Relkin is on his way there to get those as well.
Yeah, definitely looks like it. And of course, early mitts with the hammer, with mirror, with flute. Heads up on Daze's part, by the way, in order to get that full magic from the tree. I mean, but we have quite the amount of mobility on this case, right? Basically,
you've got basically every kind of thing that makes the game a little more nice to play, other than a sword. We will have to find those at some point, at least 2 of them, to be able to defeat Ganon, but hopefully those will turn up on the way here soon.
Yeah, ideally, we maybe get, one more. I think at least Daze would probably feel a bit more comfortable. I'm sure Relkin would be quite happy with it. I guess notably though, Relkin I think is quite talented at Master Sword Ganon. So I mean, it's not the end of the world, if he doesn't have temper, but it certainly does speed up things quite a bit.
And perhaps a little bit of a sigh of relief there. We saw Daze go into Thieves Town there and get the Turtle Rock Small Key there out of the front, but did not go any further in the dungeon than the map chest there. So it may have been just that when we went to Waterfall Ferry for that glove earlier, it was grab the big key for Thieves Town. We're not sure if we'll need it yet. Just grab it. Yeah. Because at that point we were only a couple minutes into the seed, so the pilots, the first especially few minutes, but really the first 20-30 minutes can be just kind of pure chaos, especially for the pilots.
Oh no, Dazed! Did you see that? He needs 5 rupees for the smith. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so this is now where we're going to do some improv. Sure, okay, Dazed, there is 5 rupees right in that tree. Go bonk it. it is that is game knowledge, by the way. If you're ever 5 rupee short, I think I've seen checks do this in like glitched runs, just in case, because you need there's for this with. But you know what? Good on Freddy to find 5 rupees at the tap.
Yeah, that's
Oh my gosh.
In the scheme of things, that is an excellent recovery.
That is yes, 100%. Because you're literally just panicking, right? At that point, it's like, well, oh my gosh, what do I do? And then good on Dazed and Freddy to go get this early ice trot, though. Very interesting.
Sword for Relkin there at K45.
Yeah, so hopefully this is where Dazed is gonna go, because a sword is very, very helpful, is what I've been told.
Well, he is heading in the right direction for it, as he and Relkin are gonna high five here.
Yeah, so actually kind of interesting, look, because so Dazed and Freddy looks like they were doing a north to south type of route, right? Starting Village of Outcasts, doing front of Thieves Town, doing the Smith, and then walking south. Relkin started at Hype Cave, and then now we're gonna go south to north.
Right. I believe Relkin only did the NPC check in Hype Cave, which was the TR Big Key, but I don't think he got anything out of the back there. We'll see if that's the same for Dazed Cloud and Freddy here. One thing that we kind of touched on at the beginning is, how much can you give your runner in terms of safeties and optional things like heart pieces or heart containers that can help them out later in the seed if they find themselves in a bind.
You are reading my mind in this case, because I was also just going to comment on that, thankfully now we finally have a sword, probably just as much for defense as it is for offense. But at the same time, like, can we have a little bit more defense? Heart piece, heart container. Maybe there's something here in the back because Dazed is going. There is a quake. Do we need that?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to it, but I bet our tracker Ike here can find out for us and tell us.
Yeah, that's that is something that distinctly sounds like that Relkin and Nep had left behind. I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? They're gonna go back to Swamp. If it's in Hype Cave, you can always go back. It's not like, every single pilot, has been absolutely pristine and perfect, right?
Oh, hey, there's another sword for Dazed. And it looks like Ike here has updated our tracker here with the medallion information for Meyer and TR, because we're not going to, go and scout that with the runners here. That's also included in the spoiler log. And it does look like
oh my gosh, Dave.
we have Bombos and Ether are required.
Speaking of Bombos. and complete lack of safety. So Dazed is here. At least he's a master sword for what it's worth, but he is here on, as you said, Bombos, 4 hearts, green mail, no half mat. Not that we don't really know what the fire rod is, but I mean, this place is very dangerous. We're only here on 4.
This is about as uncomfy of an ice palace as you can get.
We don't have Kane's Samaria either.
Exactly. You don't have Kane. If you assuming that we don't, stumble into another heart in here, Dazed is going to be doing an Oko cold stare fight.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually think that if there is some kind of scenario where maybe, we're double dipping Ice Palace. I mean, it's hard to see just because, we have the hammer, we have whatever, like the flute, or like it's just very difficult to see a path where you're trying to come back, basically.
Yeah. So Relkin looks like is maybe heading in the same direction here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean,
we're gonna have a pair of 4 heart master sword. Caneless Ice Palaces here.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, Dazed is not Ice Palace bomb jumping. He the switch is down.
So maybe we're getting Kane in here. He does have the big key.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point. We actually have the very uncommonly big key in this case in spoiler.
If we do have to get anything from that right side of Ice Palace, though, it's going to be a real pain to navigate this dungeon, because coming in here with no small keys means.
The right side is there's a reason why nobody likes the vanilla big key chest in Ice Palace. It's quite a trek. Okay, that is probably not what Dazed and Freddy intended for Freezor chest, unless Dazed really wanted that the map to Turtle Rock. Oh, but that's a tempered sword.
Okay, well that makes this Cold Stare fight a lot comfier at least. Are we just gonna pull something?
Assume he's just gonna get a key
from
and then
here.
I thought he was just maybe gonna steal that key, but I think you're right. We're going to Ice Tea. Holy cow! What the heck is here, Will? Oh.
I feel like it's gotta be Kane.
Kane, Fire Rod, anything?
Shoutouts to Phantom Ryu. But...
Oh yeah, all right. Oh,
okay.
nice big magic drop as well. Although maybe without the Fire Rod, it's not gonna help.
Yeah, it's nice, but yeah. So yeah, now we have Kane. Kane and Ice Palace, always a good chuckle for everybody involved.
Yeah,
and
yeah. So
we've got that small key out of the icy room there, and we're heading down this way to the boss.
Yeah, and so as you mentioned, so while we did get Temper Sword, which is arguably actually a very, very great defense because the faster Cold Stare dies, like the less risk you have, right? We are on 3 hearts on Daze's side. We're also on 3 hearts on Relkin's side. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to get full health before, but we can take 1 hit from the falling ice, and then that's kind of it. We have
Honestly,
to be
I think
very
3 heart
careful.
kind of the ideal to be at. You don't really want sword beams in this fight. So 3 hearts still gives you that 1 hit buffer from the falling ice blocks here, but the puffs themselves.
Yeah, and I think this is so both. Oh my god. Everything is fine. So I was just gonna say, so both Relkin and Daze, very talented cross keys runners. In that they have probably done every single combination of bosses with every single combination of weapons. Very nicely done. That is a super scary, risky fight. What is this? Oh, it's the Bikini Pot.
Well, we definitely need that at some point.
We did. That is.
And
that
we
is
definitely need that cane. So Tempered Sword sure is nice to have too. So
yeah,
both of these guys, they have the execution chops to back this up.
Yeah. In fact, actually, I mean, so as a part of the hallmark of a spoiler, right, is we're here to see like 4 heart green male, Cold Stare apparently in the scene, right? But of course, who better to see this on, right, than like Dazed and Relkin. I mean, of course, and Nep Friday, right, basically to put them in the situation, right? As you mentioned, they have the execution skills to back it up. Why not let them use it, right?
Yep.
Who needs Gold Sword red male? 15 hearts.
Are we heading? Okay, yeah. Relkin with a nice, clean Cold Stare fight.
Yeah.
A little bit less nerves involved there.
Probably.
But either way, a successful result for both our runners. And,
yeah.
Daze Cloud heading straight over here to Dark Death Mountain. Gotta make me feel like we're heading up to an early Turtle Rock play here.
That's certainly what it looks like, right? So we have Bombos, as noted by our tracker. We also worked very, very hard in order to get that Cane of Samaria. We are here on, I think if the tracker's correct, I'm trying to remember where Relkin got his 3rd Turtle Rock small key. But we've got the ice rod on both sides, and we're really just looking for the fire rod, right? Oh, Dark Cross, thanks, Hiker. I must have totally missed when Relkin went over there.
I did as well. Yeah. That's why we have a track group.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, we're just here like freaking out because we're watching these guys try to beat Cold Stare. On
there was our big key to Eastern Palace there in.
In Bonkrox.
In Bonkrox. So you were going at least to the pod area twice, no matter what the speed for. Boots and then back for Eastern Palace big.
Yeah, very, very true. So yeah, you especially as a pilot, like in order to kind of like being conscious of this is a either forced or it's not going to get any better if we don't double dip this type of thing, right? It's very basically it's a lot of optimization kind of like on the fly. So and plus it's boots, right? You always want boots.
You like boots. So yeah, Daze heading up here through Super Bunny. Relkin gonna grab his lamp out of Paradox here as well, presumably grabbing that Desert Big upstairs, downstairs, somewhere. I don't know. Paradox Cave is weird.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's in the 5 item section. That's all we care about. I will say though, just as a note, both Daze and Relkin are playing extremely well. You talk about like they have execution chops to like back up their adventures. I mean, they're doing in this case like quite well.
Yep. So Day's going to make his way through Hookshot Cave here. Looks like we are getting the two bottom chests. That cape is,
You are not turning down that cape.
Certainly a friendly sight there. But we are not going into Fertile Rock yet.
Yeah, right. And so I kind of want to say that, at least from kind of like some of the previous seasons I've seen that Days does, he does seem to kind of like take more of a comfort / preference for maybe invincibility items. I've always kind of heard him, asking his pilot, like where's Berna, where's Cape. While it is super, nice to have as a safety, I think that there's just going to be some items that make some people feel more comfortable, right? I think for Days it's going to be something like Cape or Berna.
Yeah,
and you definitely,
especially in these sorts of seeds, and especially knowing that you're going up against, a really talented pair of, or a talented team in Relkin and Nep, you're not going to have the time to eat a bad death in the back of, Mire or wherever, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually,
not that we're necessarily going to the back of Mire, but
yeah, but it's also kind of interesting. Oh, wow! So that's our first bow in Swamp. Oh, okay, yeah. So that's also pretty bad.
That's neat.
Yeah. So it looks like So I think that Swamp dip or the early Eastern dip was required. Unless we don't know where the other bow is, right? Maybe maybe it's just kind of sitting out there. But it kind of definitely looks like that you need to go into you want to go into Swamp, right? But I guess you don't technically need the small key, but. You kind of want the small key.
Yeah, you also didn't. Yeah, you didn't necessarily have to double dip, but I think.
Yeah. You're right, and as you said, some dungeons are much cheaper to go into than others, right? So Swamp is definitely not cheap. It is mucho expensive though in terms of time.
If that is the first and maybe only accessible bow right now. Then a double dip of Eastern to Compass Chest is probably less time consuming than a double dip of Swamp.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true. And for what it's worth though, we're seeing Days here using that very, very hard bought Ice Rod on Lanmo and half magic. Oh my god. So
shoutouts to Half Magic.
Yeah. There's a reason why
that was a worthwhile pickup for them.
It's okay. We were really counting cycles anyway. Days has his second crystal already?
Yeah. 2 crystals here, just under 26 minutes. Playing Rando at 100 miles an hour and pulling turns at 2 Gs. That's about what this is like.
Oh, but Days does, and both Days and Relkin I think are playing quite strongly. Of course, Relkin with Tempered Sword, very talented 124 NMG runner. Looks like, especially if you put Tempered Sword in Relkin's hands, he's looking to set up a very nice 0 cycle. Does he make it? He just missed the empty cycle, or whatever, the 0 cycle with an empty cycle, but it's fine, not very much time loss.
That's still a quicker Argus fight than I've ever had in my life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not quite the Ice Rod, per se, but, it's here.
Yeah. And now Dazed is doing his dip of Eastern here. So this is where I think that early play by Relkin and Nep to go up and get the mirror before heading to Pod is going to actually pay a little bit of dividends here, unless there's something else that maybe in the Eastern big chest that Days can grab here that'll give him a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think we already kind of saw, I guess, that Relkin and save a little bit of time over Days and Friday by getting that hook shot early, as you mentioned, with the mirror, but also being kind of staying in the same area, right, in order to kind of go into Eastern. For what it's worth, though, Days and Friday are coming back here, with boots. And flute, so it's not going to be terrible in this case, right, to come back, but it is going to be still a bit slower.
Yeah. And speaking of which, Relkin, now having gotten a 3rd pod small key, having gotten a bow out of Swamp Palace there, is going to be right back here at Pod. He'll be able to clear both of these dungeons, I'd imagine, at this point.
Yeah. So it looks like we had to come back. I guess maybe only just twice, right? Technically, right? First time you need to go to the pod area in order to get your boots, and then second time, everything else basically, right? And we kind of and Relkin, as you mentioned, right? Relkin and Nep kind of saved their made more use of their first trip in because they have the mirror, so that they can basically do stuff in Eastern and Pod at the same time.
Yeah, that's really been the only, I feel like, kind of major route divergence that we've seen so far was that play. Obviously a little bit of extra time walking through Eastern versus dashing, but also time saved and fluting to 5 and, running up stairs and everything like that.
Yeah, and honestly, like sometimes while we kind of watch Days, he has a probably a very temporary. They're both at 2 crystals apiece, right? But Days decided to beat Desert Palace early. It didn't really look like like I think part of the strategy also is you can send a runner to do a dungeon that they can full clear. On not very much danger if you just kind of like do it whenever. Also can buy your pilot some time. Maybe Freddy's gonna try. He now has like a couple minutes, right, to kind of like look through the log and see like what else he needs to go do.
Yeah, I will say that as someone who generally tends to pilot in these sorts of races, although I've been on both sides, getting something like a nice long slow dungeon that you can send your runner to, like a swamp palace or a back of pod clear, or heaven help us, a castle tower clear that's required.
Let's not the up. For what it's worth, if castle tower is required, be very suspicious of early castle tower keys. Like, if you see one, it's like I don't know, maybe observation bias, but it's like 90% Agassiz, because otherwise they're just like buried, like like who knows where type of situation.
Yeah, and Relkin having a nice quick Helmasaur fight there. Gonna get the heart piece off of there, but also gonna get a 3rd crystal.
Yeah, not quite the refill. I think at some point Days must have gotten another heart piece. I assume because he is at a whole bloated 5 hearts.
I know he got an extra heart piece out of Hookshot Cave when he went there.
Oh, right. Good point.
For the cape.
Good point.
So that's at least one that I remember. And yeah, we're going to see Relkin head in here and finish off Eastern as well. I'm assuming that the only thing that we're doing this for is the crystal at this point, given that both Days and Relkin chose not to check any other chests in here.
Yeah, that's what it certainly looks like. Now, I guess for what it's worth, this is going to be a at least okay. So Relkin already has a pod done. For Days after he goes and finishes pod, they will have both 5-6 crystals. Certainly doesn't have to be, Pyramid Fairy. If it is, though, we are a little bit more reminded of, the old, like, flies leaving the wallets type of situation. We don't really have much cash to our name right now.
Days at least has... together they have a nice amount of rupees, but we're...
That's very true.
Regardless, that won't buy you anything from the bomb shop. So even if our runners were allowed to pool their money together, we would not be going directly to Pyramid Fairy here.
Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't type of like crowdsourcing or like crowd control. Can't necessarily just try and maybe like beg for scrap somewhere.
But yeah, Dazed getting Crystal 3 here out of Swamp Palace, as Relkin is a room away from an Armos fight and getting Crystal number 4 on his side.
We are running... Are we running to pod, maybe? We are running to Hype Cape. We are running up.
We are definitely running.
Where are we running to?
This may be the trip back for that Hyrule, or for that TR small.
Oh, yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah, and no problems there with the Armos fight. So that is Crystal 4 for Relkin and Nep.
Yeah, and honestly, it kind of just looks like the trip in order to get in, basically just get this one key, is kind of like a one-off. Because, so Relkin and Nep did it pretty early, but I mean, to do it now, I think is perfectly acceptable as well. Right?
Yeah.
You're fluting over.
I do think this does tell us that there's probably not anything important in Pyramid Fairy, because otherwise you would absolutely combine it with that,
that's
with the
true.
mirror here. And yeah, we're going to see Relkin come over here, going for Crystal 5. You know, we're only missing one thing here for go mode for our runners, by the way.
What is that thing? As I'm like frantically scouring the tracker to see what else we need.
Well, there's this boss in Turtle Rock. His name is Trinex. He has 3 necks, and he has a regular neck and an ice neck and a fire neck. And
so which neck do you think we can kill right now?
Well, for in an odd twist, we actually have an ice rod.
Amazing.
But
we definitely saw Days use it too. Many times.
But this fire rod is proving a bit more elusive. So
yeah. And in fact, well, I guess Skullwoods is a pendant. I was gonna say though, like it the fire rod does have multiple uses. Unfortunately, we could not find a single use so far in the seed.
Yeah. So could be a rule of fire situation with getting that lamp out of Paradox earlier that we saw both runners go for. Although generally with how free that was and with our required trip to Paradox anyway, I think you definitely grab that anyways.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, and in fact, I mean, given that we are on 5 hearts still, apparently green mail, the lamp is a highly elevated item, in spoiler. I mean, certainly, for Relkin and Relkin and Days, they are very, very capable of doing dark rooms, right? It's not like they need the lamp. However, when you're on a little bit more precarious health, never hurts kind of to be able to kind of see things in the dark.
There is also a definite speed trade-off. I think
that's also true too.
No matter how consistent your strats are with dark rooms, you're never going to do, say, the backup pod as quickly in the dark as are with a lamp. Even the back room of Eastern Palace where you have to grab the small key, that's a similar situation where even the best sort of dark room strats there are going to take a few more seconds than just doing it with the lamp.
Yeah, and I think from what I remember, Relkin didn't, like, at least when he did the turtles room, like he was dashing around, I guess, to try and kill them. Definitely probably not something that, like if the room goes right, you're probably, I don't know, breaking even, or, as you said, losing a couple seconds, right? If it doesn't, you are gaining a whole heck of a lot of time.
Yeah. So yeah, we're seeing Relkin head up to the mountain here. That tells us this is probably where our fire rod is, because at this point, the ability to clear TR and then head right over in the Dark World, mirror for Tower of Hera. We don't need that big key, by the way. We're going to probably Hera pot to the top there. And so I'm expecting the fire rod to show up somewhere up here. Looks like Relkin's heading into Hookshot Cave here. This will probably be the cape for him as well.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like in this case the cape is just kind of here for safety. Oh, nice refill. Relkin is up to 6 whole hearts. As a luxury in spoiler. But yeah, but as also as to your point, given that looks like so Relkin and Nap are on their way to their 6th crystal, Dazed is going to be very shortly claiming his 5th crystal after he beats Eastern. If Nap, of course, is kind of aware, of their potential lead, you don't really want to all of a sudden die to something extremely silly and then lose like 3 minutes, right? May as well go take like the 15 seconds or whatever, go get that cape to ensure some more safety, because you definitely want to stay ahead if you are.
Yeah, and that is one thing that we have yet to mention at this point, is that the pilots are allowed full access to even watching the other runners, because there's not really, you're not going to get the information from on the items from where watching the other runner that you couldn't already get yourself. So they're allowed to communicate. The runners themselves are not allowed to watch. God help you if you actually try to anyways.
Yeah, that's also very true. It's all, I don't have any personal experience with this, but I can imagine that, you're already kind of frazzled and like, trying to keep track of everything when you play rando by yourself, right? Imagine now you're playing on low health, low equipment, and you have a pilot like screaming in your ear telling you, okay, go get this chest, go get this chest. No, we need to go here next, right? Like, it is quite a lot to keep track of, let alone now you're going to try and watch somebody else's screen too, right?
Yeah. So it's a rule that the runners can't watch their opponents or the restream, but honestly, I feel like that's one of those things that's more for their protection than anything else.
That's 100% true.
But yeah, so Relkin not opening anything here in the front of Turtle Rock. We are going to head over here, steal the Poke Key. So this will give us an extra small key, assuming we're not opening the big key chest door here.
Yeah. Of course. This is almost like a staple now, I guess, for spoiler. Is so of course you logically, if you've seen all 4 Turtle Rock keys to finish the dungeon, you can forego one of them if you are smart about not opening that door that leads to the middle of the key chest, instead of just stealing that key from the pokey.
And you saw Relkin being very careful picking up that key there on the edge of the screen. That door, for some reason, has a hitbox that is the size of Texas. And let me tell you, I have lost races to opening that door on accident before. It's not a great way to die.
So I don't have confirmation, but I did see Shady in chat. His team name was Schultzer is don't open the door. Do you think that door they're referring to is the lava chest door? Just asking.
I don't have the inside information, but I would not be shocked. And we still don't have a fire rod, and we are heading all the way here to Laser Bridge, which means this seed.
Yeah, so I was also going to say that earlier to you, Will. So, like, again, maybe observational bias, but every single time I watch one of these, like, spoiler log, like, Key Sanity races is like, holy cow, how the heck are you supposed to play without a spoiler log to tell you, like, where all the terrible items are?
I'm dying to know where that 4th TR small key is that put this all in logic for you to come here and get your fire rod.
Yeah, that's also a very good point. Yeah, and in fact, actually, again, maybe Relkin! Oh no! That is a very expensive.
Yeah. That is gonna cut the lead down pretty significantly here. With this being spoiler and going straight through and stealing the key and going to the back, we didn't even get the go out the big chest door or anything. So gonna have to go basically make a full traversal of this dungeon again, and just gonna have to kind of steady the nerves here and kind of recover a little bit.
Yeah, right, and you've actually found that it's so, especially after a death. I don't know if Relkin, as you said, calming the nerves down, getting hit by that Stalfos, right, and going back on the conveyor belt a little bit. I mean, even the minor things after a death can be actually quite tilting. So hopefully, Relkin is definitely. I mean, Nep is, I'm sure giving Relkin like a a good pet talk, right?
Especially, I was gonna say Relkin or Nep is one of the kind of more unfazable people I know in terms of maintaining balance when playing Rando. So I'm sure she is doing her very best. And one other nice thing about TR is that it does give you these long tubes to kind of take one deep breath. Okay, hop in another tube, take another deep breath, lower the blood pressure just a little bit here. So yeah, hopefully Relkin just kind of able to settle back down and get back into the groove, because that's really the first sort of execution mishap of any sort that we've seen on his side.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, as you said, both Relkin and Daze, especially have been playing very quite well, and really, as you said, like given what they had to do on what kind of health and equipment they had, the fact that this is the first death is actually quite surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've been on the knife's edge basically since the moment least since we set foot in Ice Palace, if not earlier, in this seed. And so that being the first death, so we are going to grab something else here off of those, maybe silvers here. Yeah, we're going to bust out that cape. Oh no.
You know what? That's
just insulting.
I wonder if he was actually going for that earlier, because again, right, if you are, especially if you guys have a lead, right, a little bit of extra safety in order to go get.
I think he absolutely was going for it, because it looked like he was trying to head back down and then just kind of got caught by the laser as he was leaving that top chest there. But that is also a nice thing to have to steady the nerves a little bit as well, is now you have that insurance policy. Unfortunately, you died getting that insurance policy the first time, but in the end, you've got a pretty harmless Tower of Hera left, and then a GT climb, and GT is a place where things can go awry very quickly, even for a super experienced NMG runner like Relkin is. Oh yeah, no, that's again. We even kind of saw like the fact that you can just get sniped so easily, right? Because you're just on such low health. Yeah. I will say though, like a fairy in a bottle, especially in this type of situation, can actually be probably like more advantageous than maybe even a bread potion, because if you happen to get sniped
right? You don't need to use the fairy. The fairy will just revive you, right? As opposed to you're constantly watching your health if you're on Oko, and then suddenly you got to make sure you use it in time, right? So, just basically being able to know that he can be a bit aggressive without, really costing very much, I think is also a good comfort, for Roken.
And we're seeing Days get that same safety there as well. So I was wondering if that would, if they might try and skip that just to save another, shave a few seconds here, knowing probably at this point that, I'm sure Freddy and Net both are communicating.
Dazed!
Oh, well, we almost put that fairy to use there quickly. Relkin there with a very smooth hook speed Herapot there.
Mm-hmm.
And gonna go right to the top. We're not opening anything in Hera. We're just gonna get a spin and a slash on Moldworm here and head into GT on his side.
Yeah, and so while we didn't really have to go into very many pendant dungeons, no,
there goes that fairy.
Yeah, I mean that's why you get it, right? And again, you don't have to necessarily worry too much, about do I need to use my potion in time? Dazed is he's right back on his feet.
Yeah. So, in the end, I was asking the question of, do you skip that fairy? In this case, that was certainly a beneficial pickup. Given, like we said, just things can go wrong real quickly when you're on single-digit hearts here at the end of the game.
Yeah, and I guess talking about kind of like low health, right? So Relkin right now is basically we've got one GT key, so presumably he's gonna go and steal the one from underneath the pot, but then he's gonna make the climb, right? That switch spike room at the very top. You know what? Spikes do a lot of damage, like 1 heart per thing, and especially if you're playing like regular rando, you're probably here at this point by 10 hearts, 12 hearts, right? Probably just gonna walk through and take 3 hearts of damage. In spoiler, you don't really have that luxury. Like, it certainly very much pays off to know how to do this room, with taking less health, less damage.
Also, shout outs to that small key there.
Yeah, that's right.
Saving us an entire screen transition of going to left side there.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Relkin still deactivated his cape, but took 1 heart of damage, being able to basically put it to very good use.
Yeah, no, that's the cape in that room, especially with half magic, is very nice.
Oh yeah,
you can pick up the small magic there, and when you have half magic, that refills quite a bit.
Oh yeah. Have you ever tried playing with quarter magic? You can spam the fire rod, and Lily doesn't even look like it goes down.
Bring back ludicrous speed just for the
quarter we
magic,
should.
Honestly.
Ludicrous speed spoiler pilot.
But yeah, Faye's pointing out in chat as well that Relkin may have intentionally taken that
oh, that's true.
damage
Yeah.
there
Also
just
good point.
lose the sword beams. They're
It's okay. We definitely lost our sword beams now. That was but yeah, I as you said though, the gauntlet Relkin, has done this probably thousands of times by now. But it is on lower health and it's a dangerous place.
Yeah. And the equipment that you've got here, other than the half magic, is not all that different from what you would have in NMG. So Relkin has done this fight a time or two in his life, and as you can see from his kind of overall ease there with the gauntlet, pretty comfortable doing this without eating too much damage. Days Cloud opening up GT right now, so not too far behind, but at this point it's probably going to take. I don't think just on execution alone, Days is going to be able to overtake Relkin at this point, but there's still game left for sure.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I mean, you talk about kind of like the dangers of GT at the end, right? I mean, even if you just run NMG, right? You're still actually probably here on a good amount of health. Relkin again, 4 hearts. He did kind of quick swap, I guess maybe to remind himself even that he does have a fairy, so he does have a little bit of a safety. But still, things can happen.
Yeah. Dazed also employing cape strats here for the spike room, and Relkin up here at torches too. We'll see him probably kill the mini Helma here for the small key.
For another key. So I do remember, Iker, our tracker, saying in chat, silvers are funny. So I guess I'm also kind of curious to see where the armors are because, the safeties just seem pretty awful this whole time.
Yeah, at least we got the cape. It was not terribly out of the way for.
Oh, we do have half
magic,
magic, I guess, for
and
what
we
it's
got
worth.
half magic. That was pretty free. Never saw any sign of powder, but yeah. So Moldorm 2 down for Relkin there, and
cool, perfect. We'll go find those silvers, and we'll have more than enough arrows in order to use it. Oh, that mini Helma.
Oh.
Wow.
So Iker, our tracker, pointing out that the one armor was in the boomerang chest of Hyrule Castle, so you would have had to go,
pretty
all the
deep,
way to Zelda Cell, yeah,
pretty deep.
And the other would have required going back to the front of TR after getting that fire rod off of Laser Bridge to get them from the from the roller room. So that was never going to happen.
Yeah. Actually, a question for you, Will. So you're the pilot, right? And we did have to go into Dark Cross. Do you think armor is worth it if it were in the first chest of Further Escape, like the map chest?
It depends on the situation, I think.
This seed. How about this seed?
If you get there when Relkin did, I think yes, especially since he has the mirror at that point and can get there relatively quickly. If you're going there later, like Dazed was, maybe it's after you've done your Ice Palace on 4 Hearts.
Also, very good point. Yeah, that's also true, right? I think when Relkin and Nep went there early, yeah, they still being on Blue Mail and like 4 Hearts or 3 Hearts or whatever is much cozier, relatively speaking, than 4 Hearts and Green Mail.
And Relkin getting a nice 1-in-1 setup here. Got the 12 hits it there on phase 2 and gonna cape up here for safety.
Yeah.
So, very quickly on to phase 3 here. And we'll just need to manage the 12 spins here on phase 4 once we get through the warps here.
Yeah, it looks like Iker, Iker, our tracker, telling us that it requires another boss. Okay, so we have a guess now. Is it Mothula? Is it Blind? Or is it Vitreous? We're gonna find out the dungeon.
Or is it Ice Armos? Oh, it's even better.
Oh!
It turns out.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that was a very good, very good fate.
Turns out the boss we needed to kill was Aghanim.
Yeah.
And not the one that we just killed on Relkin's side.
No, they were all imposters.
The
not the one. Yep, not the true Aghanim. Yeah, Relkin, as you mentioned, he has done this so many times. Just Silversmiths are just kind of like, oh, routine! Everything's fine, he has a fairy.
Yeah, he has a fairy, got hit by the fire, which is not lethal, so... I think he's a spin or 2 away at this point. And yeah, that'll do it. So, Relkin watching Ganon explode. This is going to be a win here in race 1 for It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Take Nap.
Yeah, definitely GG's to both Nep and Relkin. The route actually looked very solid. And also, very much, I have to say, kudos to both Relkin and Daze for being able to mimic clip early in order to get their boots out of right side pod. That is, judging from the lack of bottles, they also didn't look very friendly. We did see, in this case, where both bows were, intentionally or not. So yeah, right, in order to get those boots, I think was quite the feat.
Yeah, no, that was, this was an excellently played seed by both runners. I know we had the one death, and I'm sure Relkin is probably a little angry at himself for it, but
these things happen.
Really, to get through all that we did in this seed, mimic clipping for boots, and managing a lot of low percent green mail nonsense in the beginning. This was really well executed and really well routed by both teams as well. We will be getting, I think we just had a couple folks join us here in the commentary booth.
It looks like maybe Daze and Friday have also decided to call it quits for their seed. I have, unless Daze is just taking a quick pause. But definitely GG's to both Freddy and Days. So this is game 1, best of 3 series, right? So no one is out of the tournament quite yet, but I mean, like, Days definitely played quite well. Of course, well piloted by Freddy too.
Yeah, and it looks like Dazed has joined us, Freddy has joined us, and we also have Relkin and Nep here, so GG's all around.
Yeah, GG's everyone.
GG's.
GG, everybody.
GG's.
Good morning, Dazed.
Oh, God.
Good morning, Days. Good evening, I guess, to everybody else. So yeah, to start at the seed, quite the bang. You guys both very capable of mimic clipping, by the way. Nice job in order to get your boots.
I wanna just real quick say, especially shout out to Days Cloud for being able to just roll out of bed 10 minutes later. He's out there mimic clipping through pod in 10 seconds flat.
Freddy, you're gonna have to fix your mic or something, dude.
Is this how he piloted you the whole time, Days? Because that would be incredibly impressive.
I mean, honestly, you after being with him for so long, you kind of learn what each little individual
You learn how to
sound
speak Freddy.
means. Yeah, exactly. And then you can kind of just suss out that means, hey, you've got to go kill Cold Stare on 4 hearts. Have fun. Good luck, bud. Yeah. But I want to say big.
Killing Cold Stare and 4 hearts.
Yeah, I want to say, Relkin, thank you for dying there on Laser Bridge, giving us, making it look like there was an actual like chance. That was really, really kind of you, buddy.
Gotta make it exciting, I guess, huh?
Yeah, but yeah, no, GG's to both you and Nep there. I mean, yeah, I going into it knew it was just like, okay, this is gonna be hard. So, you know.
Is that any better?
Yeah, now you sound like you again.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, I don't know. My mic decided it didn't want to be correct. So, anyway, GG's.
Yeah, no, GG's. I mean, just basically throughout the whole seed, it looked like both very, very solid performances, you know, from everyone all around. So it was very quite the treat to watch.
Yeah, it was a nice, quick, pleasant little seed. I think the only real there was a couple random routing stuff that I could have changed, but I think the main was I think it might be faster to grab that bow out of Swamp early. Like on the way to Ice Palace or something.
And Broken, do you want to say anything? Because I guess what they did was they in the early game they went to Eastern to grab the Swamp Small, and then single dip Swamp, and they came back to Eastern.
Yeah, the biggest difference in the route was that Nep, you guided Relkin up to the mountain to get that mirror before going to pod for the boots, and that lets you mirror then and get the Swamp Small key, kind of knowing you'd end up in Swamp soon, especially with that bow there, and being able to, you know, you basically got to double dip the Eastern pod area, whereas Dazed and Freddy had to triple dip it. So was that something that you managed to suss out there in the first 10 minutes of the seed, Nep?
Yeah, I already knew where the boots were, and I knew that the hookshot was on Sahasra, and I also knew that we didn't need the hookshot right that minute, so I realized, hey, if we can get mirror, then we could just combine that and crunch it down into one trip. And so it's like, oh, mirror's on Old Man, go get that.
Yeah,
and
so
then...
that ended up being a pretty big swing, all things considered. In this one, you know, there was a little bit of divergence, but that was really the moment where it kind of felt like, you know, where you got at least an extra kind of, you got into Swamp much earlier and got the bow, and then got back and were clearing Pod Eastern kind of at the same time that Days had to go back for Eastern and get the bow, or get the Swamp Small key, and then getting over to Swamp. So that was, I think, probably the biggest advantage in routing in this one was that early play.
Yep, no, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
I kind of saw the hookshot, like we need the hookshot to get into Swamp, and I missed the whole Swamp Small key of it until too late.
I just got really excited that I got to mimic clip at one point, so it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go now. And
yeah, I know, it was a really good decision.
We didn't really talk about this, because I know Relkin and me were talking the other day about mimic clip and stuff. It's like the one thing that I can do. So I knew that he knew that I could do it, and I knew that he has to do it. He does it buffered. So I was kind of like, okay. maybe if I pull it off fast, maybe I can gain like, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds. But
yeah, that's the reason. Actually, that's the reason that I went ahead and said, you know what, I'm just gonna go to pod because I know Days will want to get those boots, and so I just was like, yeah, I'm going now.
I was curious, Relkin and Nep. There was kind of like a little bit of hesitation when you were on the pod overworld screen there. Was that maybe like checking to see if there was a potion around somewhere or something like that?
That was deciding whether to go to pod or go to get the mitts off Catfish.
Oh, okay.
It was. I was taking just a moment to be like, okay, we should go to pod and get the boots now, but do we need anything else there, and can we route this better? No, just go.
That makes sense, yeah. I was gonna say, at that point, we didn't have any knowledge yet of Catfish or the mitts there, so it was kind of like, we're not sure. Obviously there's something that's being discussed here, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a lot of awkward stuff between the mitts being on Catfish and Mirror. Well, Mirror wasn't too bad with the flute, but Desert Big Key being over on Paradox Cave. Things like that.
Yeah, and this is the sort of seed that's extra tough on a pilot when you get flute in the first 2 minutes, and then you get boots, 5 minutes after that, and your runner's going at full speed. You guys had mitts and boots and flute and mirror all, in the first 15 minutes of this, honestly. So, there's really, you tell your runner to go somewhere, and they're going to be there real quick, so you better have a plan real fast.
Yeah, and then on top of that, things like, oh, I forgot you need 10 rupees for blacksmith, so we had to run over and grab the 5 out of tavern.
Oh yeah,
so annoying.
Days, by the way, and for Freddy, for future knowledge, if this ever comes up, the tree right next to the tavern, there's a 5 rupee bonk. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Either way, though.
That was very well recovered. Yeah.
That was a great recovery to get over and get 5 rupees out of tavern. It was... Yeah,
honestly, I was most impressed that Days was the one that remembered it before. I mean, I was about to say, he's like, oh yeah, I'll just grab the 5 in the tavern that you mentioned 30 seconds into the seed. Like, okay, cool, grab it.
It got lucky. It got lucky there, because otherwise I don't know what the idea would have been at that point. It would have been probably I don't know, go do something else and come back, because I mean, you never expect the needing 10 rupees at the smith to actually like be a thing, because you've always got like 700 by that point usually.
I see you're a cross keys runner.
Yep. Well, okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so this is game 1 of the best of 3. Have you guys discussed scheduling yet for games 2 and or potentially 3?
Not yet.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Yep.
What's everybody doing tomorrow?
I have other races tomorrow.
Okay. Just thinking other races. Yeah, we'll figure it out though. Soon. TM.
Certainly looking forward to it. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, so I think we'll probably kind of wrap this up here. First off, I'll hand it over to our victors for the night, Nep and Relkin. GG's again. Anything you guys want to... anything else you want to talk about from this seed, or just generally before we wrap things up?
I thought this one was kind of interesting in that I kind of sort of had to just keep looking over this and being like, does this make sense? Because at first I was going to send Relkin to TR fairly early, and then I realized we don't actually need the fire rod for anything other than Trinex here.
Yeah, that's something that we actually managed to not discuss, which was the haha funny fire rod there on Laser Bridge.
Yeah.
I've been laughing at that since like 2 minutes into the scene. I'm like, oh hey, fire rod's on Laser Bridge.
And so that quickly turned into, well, actually, we're going to just put that off. Never mind.
Yeah, Skullwood being a pendant and us having early bombos made it a pretty easy choice.
Easy for pilots. I'm watching the runners. They're like, okay, let's just dive into Cold Stare, Ice Palace, 4 hearts, no cane.
It's fine.
We got Tempered Sword. It was fine.
Yeah,
Just learn the quick kill.
I did not go for the quick kill with with 4 hearts. It's like, oh, I made one mistake and I'm dead.
You gotta live a little.
I was going to say you both had your mishaps there in TR, but unfortunately, Relkin, you made yours about 5 seconds before getting that fairy.
Yeah, that was not my finest moment.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's like, man, you were really singing our praises about how well executed we did. You know how well we executed the C, and like, wow, you're just gonna ignore the TR death. All right, cool.
I honestly, yes, I am, because like there were so many things, and literally that was, you went from 5 hearts to dead just off of a split second, like, mistake there on Laser Bridge. That's, I'm not gonna throw out the other 51 minutes of execution that was pretty darn solid at its worst.
Right.
I think 4 hearts ice, 4 hearts cold stare green mail makes up for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big credit to Relkin though, just keeping it together after that. I was able to assure him, I'm just like, you still had the lead here. It's not as solid, but don't worry. And I kind of just, we kept each other in the game through that.
I was hoping you were tilting so bad, but then you had to go and like just crush that thing. Like I'm working my way through this, and Freddy's like, yeah, he's already at Aga 2, and I'm like, jeez, that dude's fast.
Yeah, there were a few signs of experience on the GT climb in particular there for Relkin.
He's done it once or twice, eh?
So I hear.
It's another cross key special.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, Days, Freddy, anything you guys want to add to that?
GG's looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, GG's, I want to go to bed. Can I go to bed now?
Go to bed.
Yes, definitely go to bed.
It's only 10 a.m. though.
Rest well earned.
I'm going back to bed. Later, guys.
Have a restful night.
Bye,
Morning.
Days.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we sign off here, we just want to quickly shout out again our tracker extraordinaire Ikir, keeping us straight, keeping a billion different items and keys tracked, all flying in every quarter second or so, it felt like. And,
Yeah, Iker is one of our best trackers. He doesn't miss a single thing.
No, and he's a real cool dude in general. So give him a follow if you aren't already. Yeah, Claire Mouse, always a pleasure.
Always, this was a blast. No, thank you so much, Will. This was quite fun. Again, very excellent. Thank you to Relkin, Nab, Dazed, and Freddy for basically running this very aggressive seed. Fast but very aggressive. So definitely looking forward to, as you mentioned, like the next one.
Yep. So that'll do it for us here tonight. I'm not sure if there are any future restreams scheduled yet, but I will keep an eye out. Let me check the server real quick. There actually is another race going on right now between P-Train and Orange, with Ravis and Chloe Prower piloting them. So I don't think we have a restream for that, but they are running right now on their channels, if someone wants to throw that in the chat. So if you want more spoiler action, that's happening. And if not, then we've got, I think, a few more. Obviously we still got a ways to go in the brackets here. So hopefully we'll get to see some more fun spoiler races and some more, top quality execution like we did tonight.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
All right.
Good luck to see if you're listening.
Yep. So again, thank you ZSR for letting us talk here and letting us put this on. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good night.
And before we wrap up, I do want to point out stuff that we have on the schedule. We got a lot of stuff starting up. Tomorrow we're starting up Twilight Princess Lava Dash Goron Mines RTA tournament. Skyward Sword starting an 90% tournament within the next few days. Jorah's Mask Randomizer starting a Blitz tournament on Sunday, right as they're wrapping up their mystery tournament. OOTR Season 6 continuing on. Random Settings League Grand Finals are next week. Yeah, we've just got a whole lot coming up, so stick around for that. And we will catch you later.